All right, so let's begin our practice. As I've explained a little bit earlier, and don't worry, I'm going to guide you through this experience. We're going to clarify a little bit our experience of inner and outer active and restful states. So in a certain sense, we can say that our life at this moment comprises those active and restful inner and outer states or activities. Technically speaking, all of those are sensory events. So as we've said, some of them are visual, some of them are auditory, and some of them are somatic. And so through our practice, we begin to untangle those sensory strands of experience, which allows us to be more flowing, to be more free actually within and throughout this flow of sensory experience. Now, as usual, I encourage you not to slow down, but actually first to move a little and to begin attuning to all of your bodily sensations. So the way you sit, the way you breathe, the way your body touches the floor, pressing onto the floor and the cushions. The way you move, twist, stretch, tense and relax. You can do a kind of a careful self-massage, just sensing all of those areas you reach and touch. Expressing this care through those touches, through those movements, okay? This is the only precious moment there is, okay? So just breathe into it, sigh into it. Whenever necessary, deep in-breath and noticing the wave of relaxation. Your face, the area around your eyes, the jaw, the base of your tongue, the shoulders, the belly, the pelvic muscles. Just allowing it all to soften a little more. And so now we begin to slow down and check whether there are still some blank spots within the bodily sensations, some places, some spots that you feel nothing or don't feel anything there. And so you can fill in those spots by touch, by movement, by tensing and releasing. And at a certain point, relax more into this stillness. Sitting comfortably, upright, yet relaxed. With the next in-breath, you can stretch a little towards the skies, stretch up, and then allow all the bodily formations to settle in. So relaxing into that posture of yours. And sigh a little more. And please, by all means, do that whenever you feel that it's necessary. So a deep sigh, vocalizing it. So as I've said, we're gonna explore today the ways that this flow of conscious experience comprises those various types of conscious activity, types of sensory experience. So some of it is auditory. You can hear the waves splashing, you can hear the cicadas in the background. You can hear my voice, the boats. The gecko calling. And notice how the sound of this gecko calling flows naturally, appears naturally in the field of awareness. A sound and then silence. So those silent spots or periods we call restful activity, restful state. So the sound itself is an auditory activity, obviously. And the silence that follows or surrounds or in the background is the restful quality of this auditory space. So just observe it for a few moments. And if you want, you can use spoken labels. In this case, when we sit all together, it's mental labels. So we say them not out loud, but inside our heads. And in this case, the labels are sound and silence. So whenever you notice that you experience a certain sound, you hear something, you can note to yourself, sound. And then you continue to get to know this sensory event and to observe further. And if you notice another sound, you can note to yourself again, sound. But if you notice a quiet spot or a quiet period of time, you can note silence or quiet. So only those two labels. At any given time, just note something, either an auditory activity or an auditory rest. Sound, silence. Wonderful. Now try to maintain a steady pace of those mental notes. Not getting in a hurry, but also not getting too distracted. So every so often, every few seconds, 5, 10 seconds maybe, make a note, either sound or silence. Wonderful. Now, notice that the same idea can be applied to the inner space of your thoughts in a talk. So sometimes there is an activity there, a thought that comes and goes, that begins to be heard in the inner space, and then it subsides. So sometimes there is this inner auditory activity, and sometimes it's quiet in your head. And if you want, you can use a more general label to track this auditory, active, and restful experience. You can use just one label if you want, and it's here, here, referring to anything active or restful, outer or inner. All of those are experiences of here. Here a sound, here the silence, here some inner monologue, here mental quiet. So just here, here, Perfect. Now let's see whether the same principle could be applied to the visual experience as well. So bring your awareness in front or behind your eyes. In this case, probably is easier to track and observe it with your eyes closed. So if it's comfortable for you, you can close your eyes if you didn't before. And notice this blank, restful canvas that's in front of you. So sometimes there's that. And if it is restful, see whether you can experience it as actually restful, nurturing, nourishing, refreshing. Nothing much is happening in front of you, so you can relax into that. But of course, sometimes mental images arise, dreams, cartoons, plans. Sometimes we remember something, sometimes we think of someone or something. And it comes to us as a mental image, something that we see appearing on that mental screen. So continue to observe in this place. And if you want, you can track it as well. You can use more specific notes, for example, sight and blank, in the same way we used sound and silence before. Sight, blank, blank. Or you can use just one general label. In this case, it's see, see, wonderful. Now, in these kinds of practices, we don't get too involved into the contents of whatever's happening. We are kind of tracing the contours of whatever's happening. So in case of this visual field, is it restful? Is it active? Is it bright? Is it flashing? Is it flowing slowly? Is it flowing fast? See. See. Wonderful. Now, finally, let's tune into this cloud of bodily experiences. So, again, the same principle could be applied here. Some of those experiences are active and some of them are restful, or at least more restful. So if you want, you can carefully tense your fist, and when tensing, you can notice that the sensations there become more intense, become more pronounced, become more compressed maybe. And then when you let go, when you relax your palm, the sensations become more light, more porous. So you can observe whether there are some places in your body where you feel calm, immobile, porous, light. Some places where nothing much is going on. So those are restful states, restful experiences. And again, maybe there are some other places where something is happening, or a lot of bodily processes happening. So those are active spots. So we can use just one simple note. In this case, it's feel. 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 To observe any restful and active bodily sensations with clarity, with openness, Just allowing whatever is to be, to express itself within this active or restful quality. Feel. Sometimes it might be hard to recognize this restful quality in the body. So maybe it's just this feeling of stillness, of your posture, of being settled in. Maybe it's the relaxation that happens on the out breath, or this calm place after the exhalation ends and before the next inhale. Maybe it's the way your palms are resting, or that your legs don't have to do anything, just resting there. Feel, feel. Wonderful. And if you sit with your eyes closed, whenever you're ready, you can gently open your eyes, but continue doing this practice for a little longer. Feel, feel. And now, for the last minute or so, let's expand our awareness to include all of those. So, sounds and silence, mental talk and mental quiet, visual activity in the visual field or visual rest, and active bodily sensations, places and states, and restful qualities within the field space, within the bodily field. So now 3 labels. So at any given time, the cicadas here, the way I breathe, feel, mental quiet here, the movement of the branches in front of my eyes, see, and so on. Just 3 labels, but they can include everything and anything active and restful. Right, so the cicadas are our meditation bell for today. Thank you so much for this practice. Now let's discuss what you observed and noticed and whether there are any questions about that. Hey, if you like what I'm doing, please consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a comment. It helps these videos to reach more people. Thank you.